Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Here we are again on a glorious North Carolina morning, and we're in our outside studio because today we're going to talk about the first rifle I ever bought and give you some reasons why I dislike it. Obviously, I don't dislike it that much because I still bought it, and give you the reasons why I bought it. So we'll be right back. Comment below on what you think my first rifle would be, and we'll see how good you are at guessing. So we'll be right back. All right, now we're back. And did you guess that my first rifle that I purchased would be a Tikka T3, chambered in caliber .223. Now, this is the only firearm I own that's not made in the US. This one is made in Finland. At the time, Tikka was owned by Beretta, and I think they're owned by Seiko now, if I'm not mistaken. I very well could be mistaken, but let me move the camera a little bit. They are owned by Seiko now, I do believe, and they're still in Finland. Now, I'm going to give you the 3 reasons why I dislike this rifle. Obviously, they weren't that bad to the point of, shaky cam, to the point of that I didn't buy it because I still have it. So obviously they were superficial reasons for why. But there are 3 reasons why I don't like this rifle. And there's a ton of reasons why I do. One of the main reasons why I dislike this rifle is there are no open sights. There's no iron sights on it. You have to have an optic or a scope. And in this case, I have a Burris 3x9 full field 2 scope on it. It's a good scope. I honestly, I don't care for scopes, so I can't say if it's a really good scope or a mediocre scope or if it's a low-end scope. It works for me. But that's the first thing I dislike about this rifle is there's no iron sights. There's no open sights on it. And I prefer open sights because I can hit the target. I can acquire my target better, especially if it's a moving target. The second dislike I have about this rifle is it's polymer. That's the only way it came. They had a polymer and stainless, and they had a polymer and blued, and that was the only way it came. It did not have, wasn't an option for a wooden stock. And yes, even though I know there's a 12-year-old joke fixing to come out and we're all going to get a chuckle out, I like the feel of wood in my hands versus the polymer. So let's take a second to chuckle. And Scott just said he likes the feel of wood in his hands. Hee hee, ha ha, we're 12. Okay, we're done. The third thing I dislike about this rifle is the price. This was $650 for this rifle in 2010 when I bought it. $650 for a .223 caliber rifle is a bit much. Considering there's ARs out there that are substantially less. The Remingtons are substantially less. Doesn't mean they're less quality. Maybe it does. I don't know. But again, that's the third reason why I dislike this is the price. Again, none of my dislikes were that bad that Obviously, I didn't buy it, but they were dislikes. Let's go from my likes about it. A, it's in caliber 223, which is a readily available caliber. Whether you get it in brass, whether you get it in steel, this will shoot pretty much everything because it's a bolt action. So a 223 caliber gun that weighs 6.5 pounds, 7 pounds, with the optic on it, it's probably a little closer to 7 pounds, is pretty good. I mean, it's not got a heavy recoil. It's very manageable. And for what this gun was designed for, this was designed as a varmint gun for boar or feral hogs. Coyotes. Wow, there we go. Dead air, sorry. Coyotes, hogs, possums, raccoons. Some states allow 223 to hunt for deer. Washington State, where I bought this rifle, you could not hunt deer with a 223. It was considered too small of a caliber, which is fine. So for what it's meant for, 223, A, it's readily available. B, it's, the second thing I like about this rifle, and I am empty. If you know much about bolt action rifles, you know there are 3 main type of bolt action rifles. You have a bolt action rifle that cocks the firing pin when it's drawn, when it's all the way opened, is when it cocks the firing pin. You compress the spring and set the firing pin. You have the ones that cock and compress the firing pin when you close the bolt. The Tikka, the reason I like it, and let's see if I can get a good view. This one, there it is right there. That's your indication that you are cocked and the pin is primed. That indicator right there. So it cocks on unlocking it. So if you're on the range or if you're out and you're shooting and you pull a trigger and that's all you get, you don't have to eject the round, put it back in your magazine, and try to see if it was just a light primer strike. You can actually and test it again, and I've actually had a few of those happen. It was American Eagle ammo, 55 grain American Eagle ammo, bought like 400 rounds of it, and 3 of them actually did not fire. You pull the trigger, nothing happened. Wait a second or two to make sure it wasn't going to be a delayed fire. Reset your firing pin. Still nothing. Okay, give it another second or two to make sure it's not going to, delay fire. Then inject it. But yeah, out of like 400 rounds of American Eagle ammo, I had 3 or 4 that didn't want to fire, and it happens. It's bulk ammo at that point in time. The third reason I like this rifle so well is the safety. It's an easy access safety right there on the side of the scope. It's just super easy to access with your thumb. You can make it safe. Well, when it's in safe, the bolt you can't disengage the bolt. When it's in fire, you can disengage the bolt. Another reason I like it is your takedown. Here's your takedown switch, takedown button, and the bolt comes cleanly out. This is a super smooth bolt. I mean, as you can see, and this isn't dripping in oil or anything else, but you can see how smooth that bolt action is. I'm not really tipping the gun much. Okay, that time I was, but I'm not having to, there's not a lot of play. And that was one of the driving factors why I got this rifle. Scoot back a little bit. Why I got this rifle over, say, the Remington Model 700, because a lot of bolt action 223s, they'll have a catch, almost like a neutral position, and then it goes up. This one is smooth all the way up, all the way up, all the way down. It's actually really smooth, smooth bolt. Another reason why I like this rifle, and it's a like and a dislike at the same time, because it is polymer and stainless. This is a good all-weather gun. I'm not worried about taking this thing out and the mist, or if it gets drizzled on or something like that, or if it gets a little dirty in the woods, it's going to clean up real easy. That's why I dislike the polymer, but I like the polymer because it's easier to clean. It actually has a stainless trigger. Another thing I like about it, again, easier to clean, and the trigger actually has some grip on it. It's not just a smooth trigger. There's actually, I know it's hard to see, but there's actually ridges on the trigger. You have undermount sling, front and rear. This one originally came with a bipod. Yeah, that went out the window. I tossed that sucker away years ago because I don't use it. I would rather hold or use, shooting sticks. When I purchased this rifle, it came with 4-round magazine. Sits rather flush, easy to get in and out. So it's a 4+1. At the time, the only aftermarket parts you could get, and I still think it's the only aftermarket parts you can get, was you could get a 6-round. So you could make it a 6+1. That's about it. I mean, honestly, there were no real aftermarket parts made for the Tikka. And I do have 2 of the 6-rounders because I was planning on, at the time when I bought this, I was living in Spokane, Washington, and a lot of the guys that I worked with did coyote hunting and such, so I was hoping to get out with them, so I bought the extra 6-rounders and just never got around to doing it. But all in all, for a rifle I've had for 10 years, 9 years, my bad, 9 years, I can't count. Math in public is hard, folks, trust me. It's held up pretty good. I mean, it sat in a case for a couple years, so, but I've ran 1,000 rounds, 1,500 rounds through this rifle, and it's still holding up good. I've got no wear and tear, no nicks, no dings. They don't make this one anymore, so the only way you're going to get this one is from pawn shop or maybe a gun broker or something like that. They came out now, all they have is the Tikka T3X or the T3 Lite, I think is what they have now, but virtually the same gun. They maybe just lightened it up a little bit. But all in all, the Tikka T3, I've had it for 9 years. It's a good gun. I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. It's a good shooting gun. At 100 yards, I can drive tacks with it. At 25 yards, not even question. I can cut the center out of a target. So, good rifle. Highly recommend for the price, you know, if you can justify the price of getting one, definitely get one. But there we go. There's my review, pluses and negatives, or negatives and pluses, of the Tikka T3. I think it was called the Verminator or the Varmint model or something when I bought it. But this was the first rifle I purchased. So, in those comments below, if you'd like, go ahead and let's start a discussion. You know, what was the first rifle you went out and bought? What was the first rifle you were given? If you were fortunate enough to have a father or a grandfather give you a rifle. So leave your comments down below. And once again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and go give a Tikka a shot, because they're a good gun. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and a thank you. Have a good day.